Hey everyone, it's Brian. Hope you're well. Want to introduce the first book that we're reading this semester. It's called Digital to the Core. This is a book from two authors, Mark Raskino and Graham Waller, from the technology advisory firm Gartner. Gartner is globally known, globally respected in across industries for their work, and they're most notably known for two models, two visuals of how to map and how to view technology and business progress. The first of those is the Gartner hype cycle that you'll see right here. And the hype cycle looks at how industries and how products accelerate. Typically, a lot of these are making really innovative products, make a big market first, and really shoot up and become really prominent and really well known, really innovative right away, and they quickly reach the peak of inflated expectations, where there are wildly unreasonable expectations about how great this technology is going to be. It's going to change everything, and then at some point there's an understandable downturn. There's we realize the technology really doesn't do everything we thought it could. It's great, but it has flaws, or there are now new competitors or something. So then that innovation reaches the trough of disillusionment, where there's a real gosh, I thought this was transformative, and now it's really not, and I see all the problems with it, or all the ways it's immature. And either at that point, that's a real inflection point, either then that product fades away. Over time, you could look back at Laserdisc or Betamax or VHS in other areas where eventually those technologies faded out. But those that survive address the weaknesses with the product, or make pivots for a better product market fit, and they eventually climb the plateau of productivity and reach real sustainable advantage in the marketplace. So that's the Gartner hype cycle. We'll talk about that. We'll look at examples of that as we get going. The second model is the Gartner Magic Quadrant. So picture, you'll see it up here, a grid with an axis one direction that is the firm's ability to execute on their promise, and then the second axis is their completeness of vision. So is it a broad product that meets lots of use cases? And this is a coveted model across industries that firms really want to be in that upper right-hand quadrant, which is the leaders quadrant, which is where they have a very high ability to execute and a very high completeness of vision. That's a stamp of approval that a lot of decision makers look at. Firms work really hard to get their product into that upper right quadrant. Again, we'll take a look at that. So the book comes from Gartner with a lot of expertise behind it, a lot of brand recognition behind it, and I think it really sets things up nicely. So the book is broken into three parts that goes from the very wide, the very macro, down to a more narrow micro view. So the first part is looking at industries, whole industries, automotive, manufacturing, information, athletic equipment, and how digital is being brought to bear to change these industries, to drive those industries forward. So looking at big picture things. And Gartner likes to name things. Gartner likes to be clever in the naming things, and it does make it memorable. So we'll look at things like the resolution revolution, and how sensors and how the being able to measure things very precisely changes industries and allows new things to happen. The resolution revolution. We'll also see in there the triple tipping point, where you've got technology, culture, and regulation that all have to work in concert together to bring a new technology really to prominence. And they all three have to work closely together. And we'll look at examples of that, of where one of those areas, technology or culture or regulation, is ahead of the other areas, and then how those get back in balance. So we'll see that. That's all at looking at industries. Then we'll narrow the focus. The middle part of the book is on firms, on particular businesses, and that starts to then apply all of those concepts in how do you work that in an actual business to apply those concepts to bring a competitive advantage. And then finally, the third section is the most applicable and the most narrow, which is really looking at reinventing yourself and how do you leverage these digital tools, digital capabilities, innovation to continually reinvent yourself with new capabilities so that you can continue to be more and more successful in whatever endeavor you're pursuing. So lots more to come. Looking forward to getting into it with you. Talk to you soon.